So let me choose
Yeah, I think
new.
you do now.
Okay, great. So let's get started. I see that Neil's in the meeting. I see David's in the meeting. Is David there with Neil? Stephen is, oh no, that's David there with you guys.
I'm
Hi,
here.
David.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Good, how are you? So,
Right.
if it's okay, Rocco, I will just go ahead and take control of this for this album intelligence demo. Is that all right?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So, basically what we're doing, Rocco, is starting a project. And in KC2, you're going to start a project that stores your images for one of two workflows. KC2 is both a direct ordering tool, and you know this. I know you and Stephen have spoken about this. KC2 is a direct ordering tool for you to place an order directly with Alkit using the products in their catalog. And KC2 is also a storefront, an e-commerce solution for you to reach a wider selling audience by reaching out to your clients and their friends and their family with an online storefront. So regardless of which workflow you choose, Rocco, you'll see both workflows down in the lower right-hand corner, regardless of which workflow you decide to approach, and our task is the storefront because that's where album intelligence resides. We need to get images first. So if I choose get image set, Rocco, I'll have you, I'll have you take over there and navigate to that folder of images.
Sample images. All right, sample album. All right. So all the images are in here. I select them all?
You just select open, actually, because we selected the function to just select a folder.
I guess they're coming in now, right?
They're coming in now. So do we have quite a few, would you say we have quite a few duplicates in here? I guess there's some, maybe. Yeah.
A little different variety. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 images on this job or something.
Okay, because what the album intelligence algorithm is designed to do is a whole lot of things automatically. It's designed to pick the best images out of near duplicates. It looks for subject content, scene content. It looks for metadata inside of the images to preserve the event from beginning to end. So it goes through this process of first selecting images, organizing them, then it lays them out on the album pages. So it does quite a few things for you automatically, and then, of course, you're going to step in and take control and make the album and the book pages within the album, pretty much anything that you want it to be. So the algorithm is designed to do a lot of your heavy lifting, hopefully saving you time and effort in putting a book together and selecting the best poses. And then again, you take over in your design and creativity come into play. So, all right, this looks good. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the other parts of the system here, Rocco. This is the images screen where you could spend some time, I just double click to get a larger preview. We have cropping tools in here that allow you to crop the images. You could paste that crop from one image to another. KC2, Rocco, we'd like to think a lot of it is pretty self-explanatory to start using it. So now that you have it, after today's session, just start working with it and playing around with it so that you can continue to learn how to use it. Each page, Rocco, I want to point out, has a question mark up in the upper right-hand corner, and that will load the respective help file for this particular screen. Just, we all learn differently. Some of us only learn by doing, some of us learn by doing and reading, so the choice is yours, okay?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to go to this storefront workflow because that is the workflow that Album Intelligence resides in. And the software is really good about kind of prompting us to do things if we haven't already done some one-time setups. So there's a couple of one-time setups that we have to walk through. One is called the price sheet. I'm just going to kind of get this going as I talk and walk here through it. Alkit has published a wedding price sheet for you to get started with, a default markup there of 500% relative to their wholesale prices. It contains some products, but it's not complete as of yet with all the products that you would need and want to include for your actual storefront sales for this couple, let's say, but that's not the goal of today. The goal of today is not to build up a storefront that's live and well for this couple. The goal of today is for us to just add an album to this mix of products here. Again, without getting into too much detail, Rocco, of, this is where you do it, this is where you click, this is, what you do next, and so on. I'm just going to go ahead and add to this price sheet that I'll get you started with, which is really cool. I'm going to put in here, I'm going to call this Rocco's Top Picks, because in KC2, you can not only, offer your clients different products, individual products to choose from, Rocco, print sizes, home decor items, or whatever type products Alkit's going to ultimately offer, in their catalogs to you. You can put together these collections. That's really what I'm doing now, and the album will be one item in the collection. So I'm just going to type in all the best products at all the best prices. I'm just going to put in some verbiage here. Digital files for sharing. I'm going to put albums. I can't type. For telling your story, and print products for, oh boy. Preserving your occasion. Okay, so the idea is when we take this full circle, Rocco, on the storefront that we're building for this client, for these clients, collections inside of KC2 allow you to help your customers. Collections allow you to offer your customers recommendations and your advice and your top picks of products for them to not only choose from, but for them to visualize with. I mean, collections inside of KC2 are client customized recommendations. So KC2 goes beyond what most e-commerce solutions offer consumers today. And that's a set of images and a set of products to kind of piecemeal together what works. KC2 goes further than that and allows you to be that trusted advisor that your clients are looking for so that you can guide them, make suggestions of products and collections of products to them. And it's like you can be there helping them shop, even when they're shopping from the comfort and privacy of their own home. So that's really what I'm getting started here. Actually, did I choose a collection on that? Actually, that's a gallery product. So there I was talking way too much. I'm going to have to, let me just do that again, because what I neglected to do is to make it a collection. So one more time. I just won't get as fancy in my description. Okay, now I'll save that as a collection. And now what I'm doing, and again, without spending really a whole lot of time, Rocco, teaching you how to do this, the idea is to run this test today. I'm going to choose the leather album that's in here, this 10 by 10 coffee table product. I know that this is the product that I did some testing with, so I think I'll keep in line with that. And, also what we would put in this collection would be some, some standard prints. I'm just going to I'll add a 10 by 10 to the mix. We would also add a digital download file or some digital download files. We don't have access to everything in this demonstration for today. Maybe we choose a canvas wrap to add to the mix. So I'm just going to add just a few products. We think the right number of products to put in a collection for your clients is, 3 to 5, 3 to 6, somewhere in that range. So wrap up a deal with Eric Berry before the franchise tag deadline, and then of course that would also allow them to tag a defensive tackle, a Deltari Poe. So I think Neil has joined us.
Yes, I just joined it. I apologize. I had knee surgery the other day, so I'm suffering the aftermath of that.
Well, how are you doing? Is it? I hope. I'm sorry to hear that. We certainly appreciate you joining in on this. I promise that this won't add to that pain. Hopefully, you'll maybe take your mind off of it for a few minutes. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I hope the end result is better. So, Neil, this is Kathy. I'm here in Rochester at Kodak Alaris. We have Stephen and David on the line from AllKit. I'm currently working with Rocco on his system, and we're running a demonstration of KC2 and the album intelligence software that is a part of KC2. So you're really getting a bird's eye view of KC2, and in a moment here we'll be running the album intelligence software on Rocco's set of about 1,000 images. You'll see the algorithm results of having selected the best images based on a whole lot of image criteria, laying the images out for you automatically on album pages, and then, of course, you guys step in and add your own art and creativity to the mix. So, Neil, is it okay if we just keep moving forward here?
Yeah, let's keep going. Yep, keep going.
Okay.
I'll watch.
Awesome. Thank you. So what I'm doing now, everyone, is I'm just saving the price sheet that now does include specifically an album. That's what I needed in there, but I added a couple of other items. Again, this is not a session that teaches you everything that you need to know about price sheets and setting up a storefront. We'll primarily concentrate on the album, but we do have to jump through a couple of one-time hoops to get there. But it's good for you to see a couple of the setups, at least to conceptually begin to understand that KC2 is both an ordering system and a selling tool, all wrapped up into one application, which of course is designed to save you guys time and money. So the price sheet, at least the preliminary price sheet, that part of the one-time setup is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that existing album intelligence demo project. Neil, just for your sake, this is where we brought in all of Rocco's images for this particular client. We think about 1,000 images. Where I am now, you can see my mouse circling in the lower right-hand corner. KC2 is both a direct ordering tool for you guys to place a beeline order right with AllKit. It's also an e-commerce solution. So we're super excited that it's one tool, one desktop application for you guys. You don't have to bring images into 2 different applications, which is usually what you all do as photographers. You use one application to place an order. You use a different application to build a storefront. You use a different application to build an album. And we knew that you were all spending a lot of time behind the computer. We wanted to give you a tool that enables you to book more and shoot more events and not, force you to spend so much time doing all this ordering, selling, album building. So we put it all into one application for you. So let me just go now into some storefront setups that we will have to walk through. Rocco, I'll need your help with some of this. It's kind of a guided wizard tour here to set up your one-time store defaults. The nice thing about this, Rocco, is you'll be getting this part of the system taken care of on this machine, okay? So what you're setting up is designed on a per-system basis, so at least you'll have this taken care of on this one machine that you're working on. You can always come back and add information later. Well, the required ones need to be there now, but as far as, a logo, that's optional. we'll concentrate on the requirements for now. But just so you both know, Rocco and Neil, the first time you set up a storefront, which is really the workflow that I've entered in, is my goal is to build a storefront for this couple, for this client that we have, these images in this project for. So in doing so, because it's the first storefront we've ever set up on Rocco's machine, well, it's asking for some one-time storefront setting information. It's awesome. It'll be carried over into all of your client-specific storefronts, and or you can make modifications as needed on a one-time basis or on a client-by-client storefront basis. This is where you would enter your PayPal email account. If you don't, have one already, or if you have one and it's not a business account, that's something that we'll be talking to you guys about. That will be a requirement, because when your clients make a purchase from the storefront, you get paid immediately into your PayPal business account minus your wholesale and fees from Alkit. So payments happen automatically. We know that's another part of the system that you all really appreciate about KC2 is you don't have to wait for monthly, payouts, or you don't have to wonder when it's coming. If your clients or their friends or their family make a purchase, you get paid immediately. It hits your account.
Tax rate?
Yeah, why don't you just put in your flat tax rate there? Yeah, that's good. And then keep going here. You're almost done. Watermarking. That can either be a text item or a graphic watermark. You can just leave that as the default. Now these are your one-time settings. When you set up the storefront for the clients, you can either choose to enable or disable watermarking. So, we kind of have to know where we are in the scheme of things, and we're just setting up these one-time defaults that you can always go back to and change. Perfect. Looks good. All right, so now what the system did, we have this wizard guidance throughout KC2, Rocco and Neil, that are really just designed to eliminate your guesswork. So the first time you set up a storefront, basically where we just came from, it said, hey, you got to do these things once. And after you got done doing those things once, well, now it says, okay, let's set this storefront up specifically for this client. So we think you'll appreciate the fact that depending on whether you're placing a new order or building a storefront, we're kind of guiding you through what your next steps are. So you can see that there's like 5 different screens. You're on the summary screen. If you look at that gray banner that goes across the top of setting up this storefront for this client, you definitely want to use that wedding price sheet. Go ahead to the next screen. Or actually, I can, if you don't mind, Rocco, I'll just kind of take over here because we'll enter into kind of new territory in just a minute. So this could be where you would enter. Actually, Rocco, you can do that too if you don't mind. We'll kind of pass control back and forth. You can give this welcome page text like the name of the couple. That's going to appear on the storefront for this couple. You want to type in their name or something like that?
Yeah, let me remember their names.
Oh, we can make them up.
Let me just. I think it was Kyle. I think it's Elise. I think it's Elise.
I don't know.
It was Kyle. Yeah, I think it's Kyle. All right, Elise and Kyle. Ooh, what did I do here? That's nice.
You know what? I did it too because you and I were both typing at the same time. I'm sorry. You go ahead and do it.
Okay. Let me do this from Elise and Kyle. Yeah, Elise and Kyle, I think it was. Katie.
And then the wedding date there, that can be changed to the event real date.
Yeah, this is an old one. The reason I chose this one is I already did my album design on this. I'm curious what the
no worries.
Going to do.
Yeah, no worries. Let's kind of get through this stuff. It can be a random date or There you go. And this is where you could choose a different welcome page image. This might be kind of cool to see. If you want to scroll down on the right and choose a more appropriate couple image probably for the welcome page. A horizontal is good, especially if they're going to be looking at it on their tablet or their desktop.
This is just one of those starting images.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the home screen image when you send them the URL for their storefront so that they can.
I'm just going to pick anyone.
Yeah, great. Yeah, go ahead and choose those shipping defaults that they can choose from. Now this is where things start to get a little fun. So now we're approaching a finishing process. The finish line is always a good place to get to, right? So this is where we're going to run album intelligence, and all you really have to do there, Rocco, go for it, is to choose OK. We do want to run album intelligence, even though we do give you some options of building a book manually or just doing an autofill, basically from left to right, which we don't want. So, yep. Yeah, you can choose some starting parameters here. Yeah.
Let's make it
kind of choose.
Let's do 30 pages. I guess approximate number of images, 3 is fine.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's let this run because we will have a few minutes to talk, and kind of obviously this is going to be a progression. I did a 1,200 image. I'm going to actually put my timer on just for kicks. Why not?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So right now the images are going from Rocco's computer to your server somewhere. That's what's happening right now?
That's exactly, very good. That's exactly what's happening right now. Yes, low-res files are being transferred, and then that's where the algorithms reside, Neil and Rocco, to make the best selections out of near duplicates, do the organization of images into groups, lay those groups then logically out on pages, and then those results are going to get returned. So, the idea is to get, obviously, a lot of the manual upfront work done for you, but then, of course, you're going to have total control to swap images, pick a different image, pick a different layout. I mean, you know the drill. You'll be able to customize it any which way you need to.
Okay, so you're uploading low-res now. When is the conversion happen to high-res? Like, when does that happen?
Well, the high-res really doesn't come into play until your clients place their order. So this book is ultimately going to be posted out on a storefront for them to flip through and review and communicate with you any changes. But when they actually make the purchase, well, that's when the high-res files automatically, because this is a seamless system, LKit runs the production version of this system in their Pro Lab. And this KC2 software is an extension of that same system. Very, very powerful that it's the same system from beginning to end. Same language, same rendering ability. The communication is all established. So when your clients place an order, their production system, you guys, will go back to your systems where the images originally came from and pull those high-res files as needed for printing production purposes. It's really pretty cool.
So the folder that the low-res comes out of, does it have to be sitting exactly where you left it to get the low-res when they go to get the high-res?
It absolutely does. Today, that's the plan, and that's a big part of, when we actually, I guess we are accomplishing some training at this point, which is always a good idea to say things more than once, but that is such a valid workflow point to make. Now, mind you, if you did either intentionally or accidentally change the location, this application, KC2, would give you the ability to just point to that new location and resolve that issue. So it's not like you're it's not like you have to do things all over again. You just kind of have to repoint in a pretty manual way, especially if you're dealing with a lot of images. You would just have to remap basically to that new location. So that's why our advice, and to your point, you said it before I even needed to, is to make sure those images reside in a location that they can remain until, this order is well beyond, or until this project is done.
Right, but that's the key right there. Until this project is done. We're going to notify our customer, hey, there's an album design, take a look at it, let us know what you think about it. That answer could come in 5 minutes or in a year. In other words, customers don't answer you all in the same fashion. So
exactly.
by leaving 1,000 or 1,500 files on a desktop somewhere waiting for one customer to give you an answer, I mean, my personal workflow is when we shoot the job, we shoot it in RAW. We move the RAW files to a server so it's not taking up space on a laptop or on a desktop somewhere. Those files, it's going to be impossible for your system to go through a firewall, through a server, into the folder. In other words, you're going to have to get a tickler, or we're going to have to get a tickler that says, hey, we need the high-res files from the Miss Jones wedding because they're not where they were when we first started.
But I believe if you were to store those on your, so let's say you have an image server in the lab, is that right?
Mm-hmm. In our studio, we put all the files on a server.
But couldn't we have navigated to that location when I first inserted the image, Rocco? Couldn't we have navigated to that?
Yeah, I would just direct it to the folder on the server.
Right, but remember, you're now opening up a Pandora's box here, because now you're allowing this software or some part of it to go through your firewall, through your network, into the server to find that folder that contains those images. Me personally, I don't know how you feel about it, Rocco. I'd rather say, here's the low res, design it, and when the customer's ready and you want them, I'll put the high res back where on the original desktop. I'm not going to allow you to get through all these, holes to get to those files on the server. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of wedding images on that server. I can't afford a possible, loss there. Somebody hits the delete key by accident or something. I don't particularly like that idea.
I think that this is just the beginning of what this program can do, but as far as having a separate drive with, like personally, everything that we do is going to be a PSD file that's a retouched photograph. We're not going to be giving them, these are pictures straight out of my camera, these photographs. They haven't been retouched, nothing's been done to them, and that's not what my client gets. My client's going to get a fully retouched, absolutely beautiful album. I'm just curious to see how it's going to select the photos, but there's going to be some modification. We're just, trying to figure out if this is going to work. I think that there's going to always be challenges. But I can always just get an external drive and just direct it to that. I'm not going to let it direct it to it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
I mean, servers, it's a private thing. You don't want anything tapping into your servers.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have a separate drive on the USB port and just direct it to that. For me, I'm just curious to see what file number it picks. I have to retouch those photos anyway. But this is just to get the client to get off their ass and pick their pictures for their album. That's all I care about.
Right, exactly.
Because they procrastinate that. And that's what sucks up the drive space on my server. Images sitting there waiting for the client to be placing an order. And to me, that's my bottleneck. Once they choose their photos, my production's done in 2 months. They have an album. It's just that they procrastinate picking their photos for their album. To me, that's the worst part of the whole workflow.
I agree.
Exactly. How many images did we feed this? How many images did we say, Rocco, were in the project?
1,078 came in. It's almost done.
Yep.
I see it's rendering.
Yeah, we're going on 8 minutes, because I know, it all depends on speed and networks and all of that. So we're looking at about 8 minutes for that, guys.
That's to upload the low res.
So right now, this is what it produced for us.
Yeah, so there's quite a few things to take a peek at here, and I'll just point a couple of things out.
I'll let you take over, Kathleen. You can take over.
Okay, and I'll just point a couple of things out because it's fun for you to do this stuff too. Because the initial results here are on a storyboard view. I'll just kind of go back up to the top here. This icon, I'm hovering over it. It does indicate that this image was selected from some duplicates. So this storyboard view is your ability to say, okay, the algorithm picked this, and you can kind of see why. The algorithm looks for eyes open, it looks for smiles, but that's not to say, of course, that you don't want, to represent this, differently for this couple. So, of course, you could go ahead and replace that image with something else. And I think probably what you'll find, in some cases you're going to find that, the algorithm picked the right one. And in other cases you'll find that your creativity overrides what an algorithm did and you'll pick a different one. So, we don't expect it to be able to, tell the story necessarily in the same way that you would, but we do intend for it to do a good job of eliminating a lot of the images that you also would. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at this point, images, you could rearrange images, you could remove images completely. Here you're looking, this is a spread, so you're looking at page 2 and 3, page 4 and 5, page 6 and 7. So, and I'm not necessarily going to do these things because, Rocco, I would let you decide, which one. You can actually hover over any one of these controls. You could see that this whole page could be moved down a page. This icon is for manually adding a spread. So this storyboard view, because I do want to get you to the layout view because you really kind of need to visualize and understand both before we can, I think, logically move on here. So if we were to scroll down, we'd get to your 30 pages. You can see that the algorithm, I can't remember, Rocco, how many images you selected. I think 4, but usually what the algorithm does.
Page, Kathleen. It was three per page average.
Right, average. Right. And that's exactly what you're seeing is the algorithm not making each and every page a 3-up page, but, kind of floating and hovering around that 3, 4, 5 image mark.
Right.
So what I want to do is I just want to go to there's a storyboard view. That's the first thing that the algorithm returns. And then there's a layout view. And this is the one where I'm just going to go to this spread 4, 5 page here. This is where, this is where the design capabilities come in. These are a combination, you guys up here, of both default layouts of the system and any AllKit specific layouts that they've published out. We have a shuffle opportunity here to take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images and shuffle it through other 6 type designs or layouts. And there might not be that many in the system, as of yet, but it would continue to shuffle through all of the 6-up layouts in the system. When it got to the end, you could kind of, undo and back up as you start to shuffle through those. You can add a spread from here. You can go back to a storyboard view from here. Now, one thing in this particular version that we're seeing, I'm going to try to find maybe this as like a background image. Not necessarily that. I'm trying to, maybe I'll add some opacity to that. So not that you would necessarily want a background image, but this particular version of the software, and I'm going to have to do this a few times, guys, just to kind of complete this cycle. This particular version, and when LKit has a new version from us, and it'll be any day now, it's pretty transparent to you guys. The next time you start your KC2 application, and you're probably used to this, you'll get a message that says, hey, there's a new version of the software. You can download it now. And you just go through another quick download and update. And, because the software's relatively new, at least in this album intelligence area part of the system, you'll go through some regular updates on the system. So anyway, the reason I'm doing this is because I really can't, there's a finish checkbox here. You'll see it on the bottom. And I really wouldn't be able to take this full circle, and I'm not going to set the opacity on all of these at some point until I start doing that. And I'll point out some other options for you. I'm making some cropping changes. I just zoomed in on that. You guys have design control here, of course, just like you would expect to. You can increase the size. You can add additional image boxes and put in different images. So, I'm sure you're seeing things, and I'm showing you things that you would expect to have, some of this design control and ability. But so version of the software that I knew we would be on today for demonstration purposes, it is requiring a background image, but we know that in the next version that you guys download, when you're better poised to start using the system, that this would really not be a requirement. I'm just going to give it what it needs so that I can complete this finish cycle here. And again, I'm not really paying much attention to, some of the other settings that I would want to choose in the background. So as I complete this, you guys, and as you're kind of seeing the results of, and Rocco, I know that you have in mind the album that you manually put together completely from scratch. So, as you're seeing this just very quickly and kind of roughly at this point, what are your initial thoughts?
I think that first of all, no one will ever be able to replace a human creativity. As far as a machine picking out your favorites, it's just going to use logic of smiles, face recognition, and all the other things. But some of the ones that are on the screen right now were chosen by the client. I think some of them that you have the ability to replace the image is a personal preference,
Sure.
I don't think you'll ever be able to change that. I think that, creativity is just one of those things that personally a machine will never figure out.
Well, and that's
it'll
not
get you started,
yeah, that's not the intent.
I think that a lot of the pictures, are fairly close to what they picked, but it doesn't know about certain things that we would know about and, make the changes and so forth. But, for me, I think the only thing I'm noticing on this is, does it have the ability to know a vertical and horizontal image? Because it's cropped in some of the pictures as a vertical when it really should be a horizontal. I was just curious if there's a setting and a preference or anything like that.
Those are preferences actually inside of the layouts themselves to do a best fit, an auto rotate on the aspect ratio of the image node relative to the image that's being inserted in there. We'd have to be careful, if we were to start adding an auto rotate. Obviously, we want all heads up. So there might be a little bit of room for improvement there based on some of the settings that are enabled for these layouts. These are just out-of-the-box layouts that come with the system, but there could be room for improvement to kind of put some different attributes in there. I'm just trying to see where I might have missed an image in the background because it's not giving me that. I don't think it's giving me that finish yet. I thought I had.
See, there's a couple. If you go back to page 23, go back a little bit. That one right there. There's what Rocco's talking about, horizontals and verticals, right there. Because the picture in the left is a horizontal. It made it a vertical. The one all the way to the left.
All of them are horizontal.
Yeah. So it's almost like the camera setting rotate tall. If you wanted to make a horizontal or vertical, it's got to be something that you could set in the preferences to say if it's shot horizontal, keep it horizontal, and then if you want to crop it, you could always crop it.
It's probably more so the fact that we don't have necessarily a 6-up layout, for these to shuffle in. So this one, I guess this is a good point that you're making. So because of the horizontal images, what I did is I just shuffled through, right, a different layout altogether for that. So, I mean, that's a good point that you're making. I mean, why didn't the algorithm, select this? But obviously, again, it was a pretty easy, kind of shuffle opportunity to get to, too. So I'm glad you mentioned that because at first I wasn't sure that there were, horizontal image boxes to choose from on this 6-up or 7-up layout, but it looks like there were, so I'm just making a note of that.
When you selected the 3 in the beginning, is that an average, meaning it could have 4 or 6, or
I think
is that a steadfast rule?
No, it's not steadfast because obviously we have a lot of, it uses a combination of both. So you said 30 pages with an average of 3. So it did preserve the 30 pages, and then based on these 1,078 images, it did some math, and then it used that math. Like you said, it's not a brain, it's just a bunch of numbers that are going into play here at this point. It really did some math to say, okay, how many images do I need to put on some of these pages to use, all of them? Well, not all the duplicates, so it doesn't use all of them. I'll point this out to you guys too, that the algorithm selected the images that have the checkbox in them. And because I've been using these 2 images for some of my background images, that indicator there tells me that, a couple of these images are used more than once.
Will it allow it to use an image more than once?
Well, it only did that because I'm manually inserting it. So yes, it did allow me to manually insert it, but at first the algorithm would not choose the exact same one. It depending on your parameters that you use, if it doesn't have enough images for those 30 pages, what it would start doing is it would start pulling in the near duplicates, right? If it basically needed more images based on the parameters that you originally supplied it with, then it would, like I said, it would start calling in the near duplicates automatically.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't
Rocco,
find
I don't know
where
how
that,
you do it. Rocco, I don't know how you do it, but we charge them for the image. Some places charge by the page. We charge by the image. So if they use the same image twice in the background and then in the foreground, we probably would get a little kickback saying, well, wait a minute, you're charging me for the same picture twice. So that's where, for me, it's important to know if you could use it twice.
I don't really use the image twice in any of my layouts.
That's handy.
My design is very simple, elegant, and classy. I don't put background images like this. I would never do. I would never put a background images on top of it. I don't put strokes around images. I have a very unique kind of design element that I use. I think what the program did on here is it found a lot of smiley faces. So, for instance, if I go here, the only serious one I see is right here. The rest of them are all smiling. You know, so it did pick one of them that was not, but I think the program face recognition is probably going to choose the ones that you're smiling. Because if you look at most of the images, you're going to see most of the people are smiling. So when I look at it, I'm looking at all the fun, smiley shots. Occasionally you'll get maybe some that are not, but I think that's what the program is doing. It's picking smiles.
Right.
So I don't know how much, you know, leadway we have as far as being a little bit more custom to change that, but if the algorithm is written a certain way, you're not going to be able to change the algorithm. But I think for me, this is just something to get the bride and groom going and saying this is a suggestion. It could be changed, but, you know, I think it's very difficult for a program to pick certain images. Like, I think overall it works great. What I'm trying to say is that the program would not know that the bride wants a picture with Uncle Bob from Florida in there. It wouldn't know that. It has no way of knowing that. There's no way to be able to know anything like that. So it's a start, but I think you're still going to have to go in there and tweak it.
Well, it's all about balance, exactly, and
yeah.
we do promote it. We do promote it as a tool, Rocco and Neil. We say that we think it's going to do maybe 80% of your heavy lifting. So, you know, it's never really promoted as a tool that's going to be one and done. We know that you have to bring your art, your creativity into the mix. That's why we love working with you guys so much, is because, you know, because the algorithm is in its first release. This is the perfect time. I'm making fast and furious notes talking to you guys. I mean, we so appreciate just this opportunity. I mean, let's remember that KC2 is what it, you know, the big picture of KC2. It's your ordering tool. It's your selling tool, and it has album intelligence. So, you know, if you guys hop on board now with KC2, now's the perfect time for us to continue to work together and receive your feedback and your impact back. Because you know what, guys, back here in Rochester at Kodak Alaris, we're not a bunch of photographers. I mean, we're a bunch of, you know, designers and marketers and trainers who rely on you, you know, photographers, to really tell us what results, you know, you need to see the first time, or how the algorithms need to give you a choice of, and I don't even know if it's possible, but I love the fact that you said, hey, you know, maybe I don't want all smiles. Give me an option that says, you know, give me, you know, exactly. So now, guys, I'm telling you, I'm getting really excited having this conversation with you guys, because we need users like you who can truly help us exercise the system. And to your point, I think you said it perfectly. Will it be one and done? Probably never. But can the algorithms maybe get improved, and can your choices, that we know we have to give you guys more choices right from the start. We know we have to give you more choices. We know we have to give you more layouts to shuffle through and choose from. So, you know, opportunities like this, all I can tell you right now, are priceless to us. And, you know, for you guys to start using KC2 and all of its capabilities, ordering, selling, and album intelligence, you know, is only going to help you guys in the long run. I think definitely save you time and money, because you can do so many things inside of this one application, but it's certainly designed to help us, you know, move all of us forward into a better program that only improves now with time.
Yeah, I think it would be nice, Kathleen, if you had a choice of, you know, saying that you have a little input before it actually creates the album. You know,
Yeah.
like for instance, I don't want squares. I would love to have the option to opt out of that and say, don't create square. You know, just have a little more control, and then when you answer, 5 or 6 questions, then it goes and builds it. Because I do have certain things that I want, and certain things I don't want. And I think it's a preference for every studio that has that. So every studio is going to have a custom thing that they want to do. One of the things I would like the program is to stay with the configuration. If it's horizontal, don't make it vertical. That's one option I definitely want. So there's going to be, it would be nice to fill out, like, check off 6 questions of what we're looking for, and then let the program create it. I think that would be a little more helpful for me to customize it a little bit more for my studio.
Yeah, and when we're working on those right now, I mean, and I'm making notes, and I'm going to feed back all of this into our, development, to our development team, and that's why having you guys a part of the process sooner than later is so helpful for us, and that's why I keep on mentioning that, yes, there's album intelligence in KC2, but you could be placing orders with KC2. You can be publishing storefronts with KC2, and getting to help us craft this tool even more. So I don't know if today, you guys, I don't know if I'm going to find what's missing in here to actually finish this and then publish this out as a storefront. But at least we got the results back, and you could continue to play around that. And like I said, it'll be pretty seamless the next time, probably over the course of the next couple of days when you go to launch KC2, you're going to get a message that says, hey, there's a new version of KC2 that needs to get downloaded. So, and that'll be a relatively regular occurrence because for one, it's pretty seamless to you. You don't lose any of your work. You don't lose any of your images, but it just gives you additional functionality. I just can't find where there's an image missing.
Heads up, I can give you a million tips. I mean, one of the things I would love right now, you see the way I'm scrolling through? With the mouse?
Do.
I want the keyboard arrows to do that. I would love to have the keyboard arrows. Just go clicking the keyboard arrow and going to the next page without clicking.
Exactly. I was doing the same thing.
I don't want to do, I got to click this arrow or I got to click down here. It would be easy to just hit the arrow key to go through these pages.
I got it.
Here's
agree.
The thing with me. Everything that I do, I told Steve this, is about speed. Can it make my life faster? I need to go fly fishing. I don't want to be sitting in front of the freaking computer. So for me,
I think we're on the same page there.
Speed. It has to go fast. So for me, it's always 90 miles an hour. I want to be able to go fast and do what I have to do. So that's just personally me. I'm really 90 miles an hour with everything.
And we hope that having this type of automation that can get some, we know not all, because we know it's not your brain doing the work here. We hope that it gets a lot of it done for you, the culling, the organizing, and the sorting. We hope that some of it is listed from your manual plate.
Yeah, I think it's a great concept. I would just love a little bit more. Like here, for another example, if you see 4 of the same people, I would love the option of only picking one. Because it's basically the same photo but different pose. I think it's just a little bit more control, and then set it free to do what it has to do. And you're not going to replace a human brain with algorithm. It's just not going to happen.
Right. And maybe on that page it's a quick fix. Maybe you remove that one image box altogether, or maybe you just drag down a different image in that one.
As long as we can do it quickly. I want to be able to select this and hit the delete key. It's got to be fast. It has to be very quick. For me,
right.
I can't waste time. It's all about time for me. It's time management. Everything I do in my life is about time. I want to spend time with the family. I don't want to be sitting here trying to figure out how to delete this image.
Well, we want that for you too, Rocco. So we want you to spend time with the family. We got it.
That's what this is all about for me. It's about taking time away to do other things and not be in the studio doing this stuff. So everything that I look at when I look at programs, and the funny part is, Kathleen, this concept that you guys came out with, I came out with it 5 years ago, and when I spoke to the developer about it, it took me so long to develop this program that by the time I developed it, it would have been obsolete. So I'm going to say to you, one of the things, I love Kodak. My first film was Kodachrome 25, okay? So I'm going to say I love Kodak, but one of the things that we get frustrated as developers is the speed at which they change and update and develop. It has to be quick. It can't be dragged out, you know, and that's one of the things that drives me insane all the time. You know, if you need an update, we don't want to wait 2 years for an update.
I hear you. Man, do I hear you.
It has to be done. If you want input from the photographers and they give you input and it takes a year to implement it, I think it's ridiculous.
I hear that message loud and clear, Rocco. I'm so glad you're saying it. I'm so glad to hear it.
Kodak has the power and big enough staff to be able to do something quickly, where us small business owners, we don't have that power. So it's all about speed, you know, because someone else is going to be right behind you developing the same thing.
Right. I'm even writing down when, I love that message. I love that you just passed along that message to me, to Stephen and David on the line. I mean, we need to respond. We need to be as responsive as we possibly can be, but we need to do that, you know, you need us to be responsive in a timely fashion as well. So, I'm so glad you shared that. It's a very important message to hear directly from you. Thank you.
So I have a couple of questions about the financial side of this, okay? So my position on this is, yes, this is going to save us some time, and yes, it's going to save us some money. The problem is it's also cutting into the additional sale that we might be getting from the customer by having them in front of us. Now, I don't know how it works at Rocco's business, but I'll tell you that in my business, if we have a bride and groom or a bride and her mother sitting there reviewing the pictures in front of us, we get a substantial additional order. Whereas if you're going to give them access to this stuff, give them access in their living room and let them take as long as they want to pick the pictures or not pick the pictures, to approve this design or make changes to it, it's not going to result in the same sale as it would be if they came to our office. So where are you coming up with your data that says this is going to be more successful than us in the way we're already doing our business?
Well, I think there's a couple of different ways to handle that, and I'm going to let Stephen handle it as well. But, you know, first of all, this might not be, you know, the album that you've, I mean, this could be the online e-commerce selling opportunity. Let me say that, because this really could be the tool that you use to build that design and send it out to them for their approval. But, you know, this could be a secondary sales opportunity. This could be that companion book. This could be that, you know, secondary book for family and friends. So I do think that there's a balance between still, obviously, your in-studio selling techniques and opportunities and being front and center with the couple, and then using this tool for additional sales opportunities. And I know some photographers, you know, that's their first and only opportunity is that online presence, especially if they sold their service where they've, you know, captured the couple's or the family's image. They've done the photo shoot, but you know, that's what they sold is the photo shoot, but they've not sold any of the print products. So I think there's a lot of different ways to answer that. Again, I'm going to turn it over to Stephen to help us answer that because it does depend on your business and your clients and how you've traditionally worked with them, and are there further selling opportunities with those same clients and their friends and family beyond the initial sale. So I'll stop there and ask Stephen to contribute to this conversation.
Yeah, Neil, and the reason that that it was my idea to put you in the same meeting as Rocco is because both of you guys are doing this a long time. You both take exquisite photography. You both have a nice customer following. But in speaking with most photographers these days, most photographers are not quite happy with where their sales are at, and for a number of reasons. This could have to do with digital photography and social media and what the client really wants to get out of your work. The end result is buying fewer prints these days. And that affects you, and that affects me, and that affects Kodak. So this is responding to what photographers really want and need, and that is an enhanced shopping experience for consumers the way that they want to shop. So this doesn't have to replace your traditional proof pass and your meeting with your client, but it's giving you another method to reach your customer when they want to shop with you. And also a very powerful visual tool for suggestive selling.
I definitely see that side of it. I just, and I do see a cost savings here because clearly if this product is doing a good percentage of the design work before, even if it needs tweaking at the end, it's still doing a good percentage of the work before you have to tweak it. It's saving a ton of time, comma, most of our profit is on that back-end sale of additional pictures in the book, and I don't particularly think if this is an offer in addition to it, I think it's going to hurt it. I think we'd have to do our traditional method and then say, hey, if your mom wants an album, this is the way your mom can order it. She can order a copy of what you just did, or she could do it this way. The problem is the pricing, because it's got to be priced the same as the other one. Otherwise, you're going to get kickback from the first person who's going to say, wait a minute, I paid that much. How come my mom gets it for less?
I think, Neil, that what you're looking at here, this product, KC2, is the result of a lot of photographer input to serve many different types of photography studios. You're looking at an extremely robust piece of software that does many, many, many things. And just as we're having this conversation, the software is continuing to be enhanced with things like a phone app so the consumer could also be viewing these pictures and making purchases on their smartphone. That, stuff like this is coming, so it's evolving. It is not dictating for you how you must do your selling. And for you being a small business owner, you could consider all these different options and how you want to market additional things to your clients. So continue doing your proof pass and your successful add-on and that. But here, now you can offer to the clients and the extended family all these other products. And you have the ability with discount codes, coupon codes, to say to them, look, here's an offer for you. We're running a special. If you purchase this in the next 30 days, here's your discount. And that might result in additional sales that you never would have had without your direct sales contact.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, those are all really good points. Really good points, Stephen. Thank you.
Well, is there more that you want to show us, or is that the end of it?
That's the extent of what I wanted to share with you guys, unless Stephen wants me to kind of walk down through other workflows or talk about ordering, or, Stephen, you can kind of help me direct this from here. I don't think we'll take the time, Neil, you tell me, though, to repeat all of this on your system with your images, maybe not for today, but maybe another time if we think that's a necessary step for Neil. Obviously, Rocco, you had the benefit of getting the software installed and going through your setup and testing it with your images. Neil, I don't think we'll get to all of that today, but that's certainly something that we can do during another opportunity.
Yeah, I mentioned to Stephen that I would like to give it a try just to see how, just the same way you did for Rocco. I'd like to have a dummy account set up that I could just load these in so I could see it, and see how it picked and what it picked, of mine.
Yeah, I'd like us to do that too, and I'd like that to happen as soon as possible. I definitely would like to make sure that the LKit today or tomorrow has our latest version so that we can just kind of sneak by this inability just at the moment to complete this finish process, and then because we're not able to finish it at the moment, we just won't kind of be able to take it full circle to the storefront, even though that really wasn't our goal today anyway. I would hope you guys agree that we, for the most part, accomplished the goal that we had today of, using your images, having the algorithm run, seeing what got returned the first time, and kind of talking about all of the additional changes and then sales opportunities that we have from that point forward. So, again,
so I just also want to
that'll be seamless.
Kathy, if I could also add. So my reason for reaching out to these two particular studios is to let them know that, look, we have this new, powerful, robust tool, and what our role could be and what I'm offering to do for both of you is to work with you to use this tool with the ultimate goal being to potentially increase your sales.
Got it. I think I have to do some further testing. I think you're in the preliminary stages here, obviously, and I think it's going to progressively get better. So I think I would also like to see. I find this to be more of my portrait side of the studio that we're working on right now, and I think it would be lovely to do baby books and other things. Weddings is tough because there's so many images. There's a lot of images, and that's. I think it's a little more personal for brides on who they're going to choose. It might work better for baby books or other things like that in the beginning. I don't know if it's going to be able to handle the weddings. It may, but it's a lot of images to go through, 1,000 images or so forth. The program is just not going to be smart enough to do what I do, but it might work better for other things in the beginning until the algorithm improves. Maybe it's the future. I don't know. We're going to have to do a little bit more testing on it. I will say this. I feel that people are getting lazy and they want to shop on their iPad on their couch. I do feel that that is the wave of the future. I find my out-of-state clients, they can't get into the studio. So there are going to be applications where this would probably work really well for them. So I think in the beginning, it's for people that can't really get into the studio. I think it's going to maybe spark them to get off their ass and accomplish this. I don't know what it's going to do. I think it needs to be tested a little bit further. The only thing I would say, I think there's a lot of positive. The only thing that I would like is what most people want, and that's going to be control. I want to be able to fine-tune this a little bit more to my taste for my studio. And I think the control and customization of it is going to help.
Yeah, and I think both on the front end and the back end that you mentioned, you want to be able to choose. All right, I need just horizontals. I need strokes. I need shadows, or maybe not, because you guys said you don't. So yes, I understand that control. The arrow keys and the delete key, and I totally appreciate you saying, I can't wait forever to get these functions. Yeah, I like what I see, but how quickly, can we move now? And I think having you guys a part of the system, because KC2 is so robust, from ordering, e-commerce, and album intelligence all in one, there's plenty for you guys to step into now so that you can continue to, play with the software, work with it, take advantage of all the updates that are, again, pretty seamless. The next time you log into KC2, you get an update from Alkit server, and you continue, to work with the parts of the system that serve your needs today and continue to serve your needs in the future.
Right. Well, this is the beginning. We don't know what's going to happen here, but I think it's a great concept. The bottom line is, like Neil says, we all got to make more money. For me, it's time and money. I don't know how old Neil is. I'm getting old. I'm starting to feel it. I just know that for me, everything in life is about speed. The country that rules the world is the ones that have the fastest jets. So I'm going to say to you, everything in life for me is about speed. Whoever's fastest is going to win. And evolve or die. Those are my key words for you. And if this program can't evolve at a fast enough pace, you're going to fall behind. You're not going to make it. It has to be fast. You have to be able to change the development fast. And that is my problem. And, coding is a pain in the butt. I've been to school. I did it. And coding is a nightmare. It's too tedious developing, but it has to be done at a quick enough speed or else people are going to get impatient.
I hear you. I really do, and I'm so glad you're sharing that and saying it out loud. Yes.
I'm not afraid to say a lot of things out loud. You might not agree, but I just think that for me it's, spending more time with other things in my life than sitting in front of the computer trying to figure out what these brides want.
We want that for you, too. We really do, and that's why it's a 3-in-1 application so that you don't have to spend time doing the same things in an ordering tool, a selling tool, and an album building tool. I mean, we totally designed it with you guys in mind, so to hear you say, great, it's a great start, let's keep on going, let's see how quickly you can get there is right in line with our messaging.
It's going to all depend on Kodak. You're the only ones that can make the change. You're the only one that can get the bugs out. You're the only ones that can do what we need it to do. But I'm going to be totally honest. If I have to wait a year to have improvements, it's not fast enough.
Okay.
It's not, because there's competition right up our butts that are always trying to do something better, faster, cheaper, and easier. So when I look at we just came from WPPI in Vegas. Everybody was there. We saw the latest technology. We know where people are going. We know where companies are going to invest money in research and development. And I have to say, I did get a little irate at Kodak, and when we had to let go of that film, that was a tough thing to do.
Sure.
So I think for me, manufacturers and companies are great producing some of these wonderful softwares and products, but they just never follow up with things, going fast enough at the speed that we want. And I think in today America, the service is gone. I feel like service has gone downhill. I remember as a kid, I pull in with my car into a gas station. They would check the oil, clean the windshield. They'd do everything. Today, I got to pump my own gas. There's no service left. And so the world is changing. At this point, I might as well let the bride design her own freaking album. It's just, we are going through some dramatic changes in this industry. And I cry hoping that it's not going to be destroyed. I hope that it's going to get better and better, but everyone loses faith in this industry when, we're giving all of the control to the bride and groom, because print sales are dying. They're literally.
You know what, you guys, I feel like we're all saying the same thing. We're all saying the same thing, that we have to understand how to serve these consumers. We have to serve them up the way they want to be served, with the types of products that we know help them commemorate this occasion. We know that we have to give you the tools that help you serve it up more efficiently for them. I mean, I think we're all on board, guys, and we're all saying, the same thing. And I can tell you that it's been amazing to hear this directly from the both of you, and it'll only help. I tell you, it'll only help to drive this product to where it needs to be, and I can't even tell you. I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate having this conversation with you guys, and I hope that we have many more once you start using the system. I know we'd be working together, building up your price sheet, building up events. I would love to have the opportunity to hear more from you guys as you have more time to work with it, because I know you're going to have more to say, right? You can pretty much assure me of that. You're both going to have more to say the more time you spend with the system.
I agree, Kathleen. It's just, we're going through dramatic changes, and I think that we have to evolve, and we have to evolve very quickly, because the industry has been affected with, today's brides, once they have digital files, they have choices that they can make, and there's a million choices. Why us? Why order through us when they can go online and order through anybody now? And so the world has changed, and I hate to say it, but photographers have shot themselves in the foot, okay? They're the ones that determine the market, and in the film days, there was only one copy. You had to come to us for prints. Those days are over. So if you can't put in front of these young 20-year-old brides something that they can't get somewhere else, then we have no chance of selling to them.
Right.
Because I feel they got too many choices. There's so many choices today.
Well, but they also appreciate that. They also appreciate your advice, your recommendations, that suggestive selling model that's a part of KC2. They expect that frequently bought together model that they get when they make a purchase on Amazon. We're all looking for, okay, make me a suggestion. Tell me what else I can buy. Tell me what goes together. I mean, that's what KC2 does very well also, is give you that mechanism to, be this trusted advisor that they need. Because you know what? When we leave it up to their own vices to figure out how to commemorate this once-in-a-lifetime occasion, if we leave it up to them to take all the digital files that they think they're going to be their own hero with and do something with, we all know they're not going to do anything with those. We know that they don't properly commemorate this occasion without our help and our guidance. So it is, there's an opportunity there. You got. I know you all know that the opportunity is there, because we do know from experience that they're not capable of self-fulfilling. They don't know. They just don't know how to do it without our advice on digital files for sharing, storytelling products to tell their stories again, print products to preserve the occasion for a lifetime. They look to you for your art and your creativity. They also look to you guys to tell them how the heck do they properly do it with the right types of products.
Well, I concur to that. I think that they all need our help, and that's why they procrastinate. It's a big job, and they don't want to do it. And right. I think that, we have to be in charge. We have to be in charge of our conversations, our sales, our suggestions, and we do have to be the trusted advisor. There is no doubt that that's why I've been in business for 30 years. Because if I didn't do those things, they would not be coming to me. So yes, what I'm saying is this. We are changing faster now than we ever did before. And so I'm going to go back to the point that everything is great as long as it's developed quickly. Because a year time is a lot in this industry. What's hot this year is not going to be hot next year. I think that things are moving at such a fast pace that no one anticipated how fast things are going to move. And I'm going to conclude with this, because I got to get back to work. I'm going to conclude that when digital first came out, everyone said, don't worry about it. It's going to take 5 to 10 years before everybody is digital. Do you know that it literally took about 2 years before everyone threw their film away and went to digital? It happened at an accelerated speed that even Kodak was not anticipating that. So I'm just going to say to you, things are moving fast. And the ones that move the fastest are going to win. Because if you just drag out your development and you drag out all of these features and all the things that we want, if you drag it out, we're going to get frustrated and we're going to shut down and we're not going to use the program. So it has to be done at a reasonable rate of updates. You got to continuously put into it, because we're going to get frustrated. If I got to do something that's going to cost me time and not save me time, why would I do it?
All right, guys. I'm so glad that we've concentrated on this message. Steve, what are our next steps here for Rocco and Neil?
Well, we're going to see if Neil wants the live demonstration on his system.
Okay.
And I guess
I would like to try. Yes.
Good. So, Kathy, if you have time, I certainly have the energy, and I would love to see Neil's take on it.
Well, we're going to wait. We're going to wait
Rocco?
and do that. Yeah, we're going to wait and do that once you have the update to this that we see today. So we'll do that, hopefully by the end of the week. Neil, if your schedule can accommodate it. So that's just something we'll keep in touch on, okay?
So my message to both of you guys is, Kodak approached me probably about a year ago to let me know that they were working on this thing. And when I looked at it, I said, I'm not seeing it. I don't get it. Well, fast forward a year later, and I look at the product in its current form. And I'm really excited about it and the potential that it has to make additional print sales. So at any time that you guys want to jump in, I certainly have the energy to work with both of you to see if we can increase sales. That's the message.
Well, I'm going to test it to see how I can implement it into my workflow. Because, everything's workflow. How do we make more money? How do we do it fast? I think that's what this is about, how to make more money. I do feel that if you don't throw suggestions to the bride and groom today, you're not going to have any sales. So,
and that feature alone, what you just called out, is what sets this product apart from any other online storefront or gallery. And it's very compelling, and it's very powerful, and it's here now.
I can see so many I can see, having guests place orders from the wedding. There's so many things besides the bride and groom that can place an order. I get tons of other sales from, the day of the wedding, we shoot a lot of different people that most of the bride and groom would never pick that photo, but they would because it's their family. So there's endless
these features that you're addressing, Rocco, are here and they're ready to go now.
I understand, and I think people look for packages that they get a discount if you put them together. I think that's a big thing. We do that all the time, and we definitely get a lot of sales from that. I think that we can't be.
Now you're translating that offer into an online experience.
Well, that's the thing. People are lazy. They don't even want to come into the studio anymore. They want to sit on their couch and be able to order everything from their phone and iPad.
You're ready, Rocco.
I know which way it's going. What I'm saying is we have to do this quickly. We have to.
All right, guys, I got to run. Stephen, circle back with me later in the week or Monday, and we can work on this on my system.
Neil, you feel better, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rocco.
Neil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Rocco, it sounds like the next step for us, hopefully would be to take, this small working example, take it full circle. The next time we meet, we work with, Alkit's completed price sheet. We build that up. We publish it out as a storefront, and you're ready to rock and roll with that with your clients and their friends and family. I mean, I would love to take it, a full circle, realistic sales opportunity with you and build that up.
Well, that's the thing. I have to test this out. I got to do more testing. I think we got a preliminary idea of how this is going to work. But I got to go further into it. There's a little bit more things I want to check out. I'm sure there's going to be bugs along the way we have to get rid of. I would love some shortcuts. For me, I'm a shortcut guy. If I can save 2 seconds at the end of the year, that adds up.
I say the exact same thing. Seconds shaved, hours shaved days. Yep.
And I think this is going to, be different for every studio. You're going to have low-end studios. You're going to have high-end studios. Everyone's going to have a different preference, and I think that's the part of the control and customizations that we want. If I show you this right now, the finished album, you're going to see it's very different than what I have in front of the screen, obviously.
Right.
But for me, it's about basically how the hell do we make more money? I can care less about anything else. It's all about money at the end because that's why we're in business, and to free up the time to spend with family and friends.
Exactly.
So to me, how can I save time and make more money with the software? That's really what I care about the most. Features will come as the time goes on. So yes, I think we're onto something. Let's see how we can make it work.
Okay. So, Stephen, do you want...
I am going to plan to reach back out to Rocco when we have the upgrade.
Okay.
And at the
great.
same time, we'll have a completed price list and catalog.
All right. That sounds like awesome next steps to make sure that Rocco is equipped to proceed with testing and building up. And Stephen, you obviously know that I'm here to be a part of any and all of those efforts as needed.
Excellent.
Rocco, thank you so much for your time. It's really been a pleasure to work with you. We all appreciate your input and your feedback. It's incredibly valuable to us. Thank you.
Okay, very good. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rocco.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, David. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Steve, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.